of various skin, nail, and hair concerns. She has also been featured on TV. She gives her tips on skincare, also has given interviews on dandruff management and on Radio City FM also. She's armed with a degree of in dermatology from the prestigious National Board of Examinations. She has also a diploma in dermatology from Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Glasgow, UK. She has been invited to present her work in various national and international forums. The latest being she presented her work on fungal infections of the skin at the World Congress of Dermatology in June 2019. She is the co-founder and medical head at Dr. Banotkar's Skin Crest Clinic at Matunga, a state-of-the-art dermatology and cosmetic dermatology services under one roof, including lasers and lasers for pigmentation and for acne scars. She has total experience of 10 years in treating patients of all age groups with skin, hair, nail, and aesthetic concerns. She believes in a holistic treatment approach for all patients. She has special interest in performing procedures like laser hair reduction, chemical dermo roller, lasers for acne scars, pigmentation, warts removal, Botox, fillers, etc. She has a very deep interest in medical dermatology concerning fungal infections, blistering diseases, and pigmentary disorders. Keeping in tune with the current situation, she is also an expert telemedicine and has been consulting a lot of patients online during this COVID lockdown. Over to you, Dr. Kruti Banotkar.
Thank you so much for such a warm welcome and such kind words for my introduction. It feels very nice to be here today. And at the outset, I would like to thank the president and the founder members and all the members of Venus Club. Thank you to Deepa Contractor Ji for inviting me here today. It's indeed a great pleasure to be here today. So today I was invited to speak a few words about skincare. I really enjoy giving a talk on skincare because I feel that all of us should be aware about how we should take care of our skin. So here I begin my talk. I will skip my introduction because I had such kind words already. So I am a consultant dermatologist practicing in my own clinic, which is called at Dr. Banotkar Skin Crest Clinic. I'm also attached to KJ Somaya Super Speciality Hospital and Kambala Hill Hospital. This is my state-of-the-art clinic where we provide skin care, hair care, nail care. We also offer lasers for hair reduction and pigmentation. We offer acne treatment, and we also offer treatment for hair growth, warts and mole removal, etc. So first I would like to know if you all are aware, if I may ask you all to unmute please, just for this slide. If you all are aware as to who exactly is a dermatologist. So what is your perception about a doctor who is a dermatologist?
Person who deals with skin.
Yes, that's right. Anybody else?
Yeah, skin care and hair basically.
Skin-related diseases and skin-related deep skin-related issues.
A doctor who improves your looks.
Yes,
and
definitely.
Also can give the medication.
Yes.
Because
Definitely.
for skin we go to spa and parlors also, but for they don't give us medications. You all do that.
Okay, thank you so much. It was nice to know the insights that you all have. So basically, a doctor who is a medical doctor who specializes in treating the diseases of the skin, hair, and nail is called a dermatologist. We also deal with diseases of the mucous membranes, that is the lining inside the mouth, nose, and our eyelids. And we treat and diagnose more than 3,000 different diseases. Also, since the last 10 years or so, cosmetic dermatology or aesthetic practice has really taken a very high position. And we also help to improve the appearance of the patient's skin, hair, and nails. So I heard someone mention about spa and parlors, but the essential difference here is how we help you is by doing scientific treatments which will really add to the value of your skin by improving the skin health. So that is what is the most important, because these are just not cosmetic in origin, though they are called so. They are basically designed to improve your skin health so you have a healthier skin. And we see patients of all ages, from newborns to people older than 100 years of age. So a dermatologist believes in a holistic treatment approach. And I strongly believe in this, that invest in your skin because it is going to represent you for a very long time. So how much ever we invest in our skin is going to be less. And there is, no margin as to, today you took care of your skin and then tomorrow you needn't. It's not like that. It's a continuous process, because the way we brush our teeth on a regular basis, we brush them daily because we want to maintain good teeth. Similarly, for skin, you have to take care of your skin on a daily basis. And only then will you be blessed with a healthy skin, which will represent you. That is the thing that you're representing to the world. Now, I want to, basically ask all of you as to how will you love and cherish your skin? Can I have someone who will tell me how will you love your skin? Anybody who would like to say something? How will you love your skin? How will you cherish your skin? What is your perception?
Using the right soap for your skin, using a face wash for your face, cleansing your face, and like how we wash our hands, not so often, but 2-3 times a day you must cleanse and wash your face, and
Definitely.
using the right moisturizer for your skin.
Definitely, yes. Anybody else would like to add something?
I would just like to appreciate my skin.
That's nice. That's really nice.
I would say keep it hydrated all
Yes.
throughout the day.
Yes. Okay.
Just a
So,
different perspective because you
Nutrition, right? Nutrition.
yes, very important. Definitely. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So how will you love and cherish your skin is really important. What all of you said definitely holds true. I would definitely add a few pointers to it as we come across the presentation. So at this juncture, I would just like to say that why we should do it is because as we are aging, our skin is also aging. So as the number of our age increases, the skin is also going to show different signs and symptoms which suggest that the skin is aging. So if we want to maintain a youthful look, though I'm not saying that not having a youthful look is not good, but having a look which is youthful as well as a healthy look, we must take care of our skin right at the outset, because the later that we start taking care of our skin, the more signs of aging it will show. And we believe that prevention is always better than cure. So these are the aging signs that we usually see on the face. We lose the moisture and collagen as we grow. There are lines and wrinkles. There'll be graying of our hair. There'll be lower brow and eyelid. There'll be dark circles. There'll be wrinkles. The lips become thinner. The mouth is downturned. There is pale gray skin, and the face contour also changes. So in order to start taking care of our skin, we need to follow a protocol. And if we follow this protocol, it takes us a very long way in maintaining a very, very healthy skin. So I believe that 3 pillars of skincare are a face wash, a moisturizer, and a sunscreen. The moisturizer and the sunscreen bit applies to the entire body. So basically moisturizer can be applied on the entire body. Sunscreen we usually apply on exposed areas, and washing. So I heard, I think Deepa ji say that we need to wash with a good soap and all. Definitely. So that forms a very important pillar. So coming to the details. So this should be our skincare routine. In the morning, we must wash our face with warm water and a very gentle cleanser, which is 5.5, because that is the skin pH. And when you have a cleanser which has a balanced pH, we are doing a very good thing for our skin by not dehydrating it, by using strong cleansers. Then you need to use a daily moisturizer. You need to apply a sunscreen with SPF 30 and above. And once the facial moisturizer is absorbed, a person who wants to apply a makeup can do so. Coming to the night routine, so a similar thing. We wash our face with warm water, not hot water, not cold water. Warm water is what is ideal. And you can use a toner if you do not have dry skin. In people with dry skin, toner needs to be avoided. So toner will help to remove any remaining dirt and oil. Rub a cotton ball coated with toner over the face, moving from nose outward. Once the cotton ball that comes clean, then the toner effect is done. And then apply a light moisturizing cream or a lightening cream depending on the need. Also an anti-aging cream can be considered depending on the age. Many people have sensitive skin. So sensitive skin has to be dealt with very carefully because this skin often reacts to many products. So we are very careful about using fragrance-free and dye-free cleansers. We also avoid cleansers which contain a lot of acid botanicals. Acid botanicals means all the latest products that we see with aloe vera and other acid botanicals. We have a lot in the market called licorice extract, arbutin, etc. And also devoid of preservatives like ethanol and propylene glycol. So you can always check the label and buy if it has preservatives like propylene glycol and ethanol. And if you have sensitive skin, then it would be best to avoid them. Also avoid using scented or colored moisturizer. So any moisturizer with a lot of fragrance will definitely affect a person with sensitive skin care. So while choosing, if your moisturizer has a very strong smell, a good smell though, it should be avoided if you have sensitive skin. And a sunscreen that is unscented and non-comedogenic is ideal. Non-comedogenic means a sunscreen which does not give rise to acne. So these are the 4 commandments by which I always guide all my patients, is that sun protection is really important for all exposed areas of the body. Treat your skin gently, eat a healthy diet and hydrate yourself thoroughly and manage your stress. So we heard Mrs. Shilpa Mittal give such a wonderful talk on the diet and the hydration bit and also on the stress bit. So I will definitely run through it quickly. Now coming to sun protection. So sunscreen is a very important part of the armamentarium in having a very healthy skin. So there is a lot of, hoo-ha going in the market about having a higher SPF sunscreen. But to tell you the truth, because we are brown-skinned people, we do not have a lot of chance of our skin burning. We do tan easily. So when a person who has, say, white skin, the Europeans or the Americans who have white skin, they burn very easily. As a result of which, they have very high chances of skin cancers. But in India, you may have hardly heard people telling that I had skin cancer or heard of anybody having skin cancer. That is because our skin doesn't burn so easily. It only tans, and that is something that we should be grateful for. And hence, as a corollary, the sunscreen that we use can obviously not be of high SPF, and still it will provide a good protection for our skin. So any sunscreen with SPF of 15 or even 30 is good. We needn't use sunscreen with SPF of 50 or so. The most important part of sunscreen usage is that a sunscreen must be reapplied every 4 hours, because the sunscreen may be of whatever brand. It will not give any effect after 4 hours of application. Hence, if we are not repeating the sunscreen every 4 hours, it is doing no good to our skin in the long run. It is as good as not applying it. Hence, if you are indoors or outdoors, a sunscreen must be applied every 4 hours. Why? Now, why indoors? Often patients ask me, doctor, why are you telling us to apply a sunscreen in the house where there is sun in my house? I say, no, there is no sun. But what about the artificial sources of light? What about your selfie cameras? So nowadays I have altered the way I counsel my patients. So when I used to tell them earlier that when you are going to bed, you don't need to apply the sunscreen because the lights are going to be switched off. But now I tell them, when you go to bed and when you switch off your mobile phones, that is the time you don't need your sunscreen. So this is how I have altered my counseling. And even gas, that for that matter, cooking gas can also cause a lot of tanning, and hence a sunscreen should be applied even when you're indoors every 4 hourly, and that will really help your skin. Even infrared radiation sources like TV screens and laptop screens are known to damage the skin. Treat your skin gently. So limit your bath time. Long showers or baths remove the necessary oils from the skin and dehydrates the skin. Hence, limit the bath time. Use warm water, not hot water. Do not use very strong soaps. Avoid steroid creams. Usually, there are people who apply Betnovate for years and years together in any area conceivable on the skin. And often then we come across so many side effects of usage of these steroid creams that it takes a very long time to treat them. When you're shaving, do not ever dry shave your skin. Moisturize your skin daily according to the skin type, and please remove your makeup before sleeping for the ladies. Eat healthy. A well-balanced diet is a must for having good skin. Plenty of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins. Avoid high sugar foods, fizzy drinks, pastries, cakes. These definitely affect the skin a lot. So please try to avoid these and have foods rich in antioxidants, vitamin C and beta carotene. Stress. All the things, I can say safely that any skin concern or hair concern that anybody has may in some way be related to stress. So stress is inevitable both on the personal and the professional front. I completely agree. We all are a part of it. Nobody is, away from stress. But what is the worst hit is your skin. Definitely there are other systems. I have put in a diagram here which is showing these effects of stress on different systems of our body so that you all can see. But here, since I'm talking about skin, I'll talk about skin here. So uncontrolled stress makes your skin really sensitive. There can be worsening of your pimples. There'll be worsening of symptoms of PCOS. Nowadays, out of 10, at least 7 or 8 girls have PCOS. That is all because of the stress and also because of the westernization of our lifestyles. Hence, stress plays a very important role. And it also leads to a lot of binge eating and obesity, and it causes early aging of the skin. In fact, to share with you all, in the lockdown, the last 3 months, I have been consulting constantly online. And if I am doing 10 consultations in a day, out of that, 9 will be with hair fall. Why there is so much hair fall that is happening? The only thing I can offer, the cause that I can offer to everybody is that it is because of the stress of the lockdown. Though we may say we are more relaxed, we are sleeping better, we are eating better, we are not going out, I agree. But the stress of the unknown, that is what is really affecting the people, and the hair fall is tremendous. And it is not, just something that a portion of a society is reporting. This is across all strata, across all socioeconomic strata. So it's everybody's experiencing it. So it is very important to manage stress in order to keep a healthy skin and have healthy hair also. So how you do it is definitely your choice, but please do it. Set reasonable limits, scale back your to-do list. That will really help to de-stress. Also make time to do things that you enjoy. Regularize your routine, have a good diet. Diet rich in antioxidants fights oxidative stress in the skin and it keeps you young. Cardio workouts release endorphin hormones. They are mood elevating and also are natural stress busters. So please indulge in cardio workouts at home if possible. So slowly, obviously things are opening up, but even while you are at home, there are a lot of YouTube videos called HasFit or Leslie Sanson Walk at Home. And these really give a lot of benefit to people who are at home and exercising at home. So please try and indulge. And yes, yoga. So since we had the benefit of yoga guru, Mr. Shrikant here, so that is really amazing. Please do yoga as well for de-stressing. And yes, last but not the least and most important is sleep. Even Mrs. Shilpa said the same thing, and I also would like to add to it. Sleep is really important. It keeps your skin rejuvenated and things going very good for you all. Now coming to the different types of skin. So we have normal skin, dry skin, oily skin, sensitive skin, and there is one more category called this combination skin. So normal skin is a skin, how will you judge? So there are often patients who tell me, doctor, I don't know what type of skin I have. So can you tell me? So I often educate them as to how to know what is the type of your skin. So I tell them that when you have a normal skin, there is a balance. It is neither too oily nor too greasy, neither oily nor greasy nor too dry. And that is when you have a normal skin. It has an even texture with a smooth surface. A dry skin has a very dry, parched appearance. It flakes easily. It feels tight and uncomfortable after washing. And it is very prone to lines and wrinkles. And they do age very fast. And hence, it is very important to apply a thick, creamy moisturizer often. Oily skin is a skin which is shiny, thick, dull. there is a lot of oozing of oil, there is overactivity of oil glands. And because of this excess oil on the surface, it attracts dirt, dust, and also is more prone to pimples. So one must use an oil-free moisturizer, and a toner is recommended for this type of skin. When you have a combination skin, it is usually oily on the forehead and the nose and the chin, and the cheek and around the eyes and mouth. This is called the dry panel. This is always dry. So this is the combination skin. We must avoid using the moisturizer on the oily areas or use an oil-free moisturizer. And sensitive skin is a skin that I was referring to earlier, very prone to redness, very prone to allergies. It is usually accompanied by dry skin, and it is easily irritated by products in environmental conditions. So as we are progressing, I would also like to add in a few things about how skincare should be different in different seasons. So every season brings with it a different set of challenges for our skin, and this is how we deal with them. So when you are in the summer, you must drink a lot of water to hydrate your skin, apply a sunscreen regularly, use a moisturizer which is not very thick and creamy. You can exfoliate twice a week. Also avoid shoes in the summer because of the sweating which accumulates in the shoes and causes a lot of fungal infections on your feet, on your toes, and hence sandals would be a better idea, or flip-flops. Also, it is very, very important to bathe twice daily and keep the area clean and dry. So this will prevent a lot of fungal infections, because in the summer we have an advent of a lot of fungal infection cases, and this is what I usually tell them. If you don't want to see me often, please take bath twice daily, and that's all you need to do. Even during the monsoons, the season that we are in right now, there are a lot of fungal infections because of the humidity in the environment, and also because we get wet in the monsoon, though we are not doing all that right now. Not that it's raining though, but still very important to keep the area dry, especially the body folds and the feet should be dry. Otherwise, there is a lot of fungal and bacterial infections in these areas. Also use a cleanser with a pH of 5.5, use a moisturizer and a sunscreen. Now people question, why should we use a sunscreen when there's so much cloud cover? Well, there are some rays called as UVC rays, which can also pass through the cloud cover. And hence, when you step out in the monsoon, you must use the sunscreen. Now coming to the winters, use a creamy facial cleanser, moisturize more often in a day, use the right body lotion. The body lotion should be applied immediately on wet skin. I mean, I don't mean completely wet, but slightly damp skin. So when you do that, the moisture gets trapped within the skin and the skin doesn't get dry too fast. And hence a body lotion, that is a moisturizing lotion, should be applied on slightly wet skin. And use a lip balm, preferably with the SPF, and care for your hands, feet, nose, and knees and elbows as well, with products containing shea butter, natural oil, or glycerin. Now coming to skin at every age. So as we saw that skin changes according to the season, similarly, the skin will change according to the seasons of our age. So that means our skin is different at every age. So when you're in your 20s, you look different from how you look when you're in your 60s. So this is the aging process that we see. We can see how there is definitely a change in the texture. There are fine lines, there are wrinkles, there's sagging of the skin. So how will you slow down aging? So you can slow down aging in the following ways. Protect your skin from the sun every day, as we spoke earlier. There is something which is known as photoaging. That means the effect of light on your skin. It is called photoaging. When there is photoaging, there are increased chances of fine lines and wrinkles at a rapid speed. And hence, I was advising the use of a sunscreen. Definitely to prevent the tanning, but also in addition to prevent the photoaging. Avoid using repetitive facial expressions. So what happens when you do repetitive facial expressions? For example, if I frown often, initially when I start frowning, so I'm frowning here. So you see these lines. So these lines are called as static lines. That means when I'm not emoting, my face looks normal. But in a person who is frowning very often, these lines become static. You must have seen two vertical lines in many people. So these are called static lines. So when the lines are static, it is difficult to treat them. So we have to resort to different procedures to treat these lines. But when the lines are dynamic, it's better. So hence, avoid using repetitive facial expressions. Also eat a healthy, well-balanced diet, exercise, cleanse, face with a face wash, moisturizer. avoid skincare products that sting or burn, and no smoking or alcohol. So smoking and alcohol have a very deleterious effect on the skin. It is definitely something that causes a lot of harmful effects. So please try and keep that in check, and that will really help. So these are the steps to prevent aging. So we drew a table wherein, when a person in 20s comes to us, we always tell them a skincare routine, which involves cleanser, moisturizer, sunscreen in that order. Sunscreen is always the last layer on your skin. And then we can do procedures for them. So I will definitely go through the procedures in a while. And then when the person comes to 30s, we tell them add night creams. In 40s, we say add anti-aging creams. And in 50s, we do everything. So right from a good routine to night creams to anti-aging creams and procedures. So now talking about these Bollywood beauties. So would anyone say that they are so aged? I'm sure she's around more than 65, 70. So nobody would say that. What about this? What about her? Nobody. Look at these Hollywood beauties. Who will know their age? Very difficult. So why do you think that they have defied the age? Is it just because they are genetically bestowed? Is it so? I don't think so. It is because they take care of their skin in a regular manner on a daily basis with a lot of things. So they definitely do all that we spoke about, like how to take care of your skin with a good protocol, etc. And I'm sure they also obviously resort to a lot of cosmetic dermatology treatments. So since I am giving a talk on skincare, I would also like to involve these treatments. I would like to make you all aware about these. So these are treatments which are routinely done in my clinic, and also a lot of dermatologists do it, and it is all approved, and they have very good results, and they're all safe and scientific because they are being done by a person who understands the skin and knows the science. So these are the various treatments. Now coming to chemical peels. So you may have all heard very commonly these days, chemical peels are very commonly done. So what is a chemical peel? So a chemical peel is basically a solution that helps us to rejuvenate our skin. It helps us to rejuvenate our skin in many ways. So if we have tanning, it helps to rejuvenate for that. It helps to treat the acne, uneven skin tone, dull complexion, any rough feeling skin, sun damaged skin, etc. So basically this solution is applied by a doctor, a dermatologist, and they apply it on your face and keep it for a little while and take it off, because these are very strong solutions and they help to remove the dead skin layer out first, and then the new layer that comes in is a fresh layer. It actually rejuvenates the deeper structures in your skin and gives you a very healthy looking skin. So these are sessions that are done. So we usually do 4 sessions at a gap of 2 weeks each, and it really helps to change. So as you can see the before after here. So this person had a lot of pigmentation on the face, and we did a series of chemical peels for her, and this is the result that we got after these chemical peels. There are different types of chemical peels. So there are glycolic, salicylic, etc. These are all derived from natural sources like sugarcane, and there are a few which are also synthetically manufactured. They're all manufactured in such a way that they are going to give you good benefit to the skin rather than causing any harm to the skin when used correctly. So this is what is a chemical peel. Now, coming to a procedure which is called as MNRF or a derma roller. This is mainly done for acne scars. So you can see the deep scars that a person had here. And this is the result after doing a few sessions of these procedures. So they are basically trying to fill up your scars. When we do the procedure, what we are actually doing is we are filling up the gaps. We are regenerating the tissue that was lost due to the acne or due to any other problem that resulted in a scar. A scar is basically a pit. A scar is a loss of tissue. A scar is a depressed area. So that is what we are rejuvenating here with the help of these procedures. This is a derma roller. This is a handheld procedure which we do. It's a manual procedure, and this is a machine-based procedure that we do. And they both really help, and treatment takes around 8 to 10 months because it takes time for the skin to regenerate. So when a person comes to me, I always tell them that we can't do anything in haste. We have to give time because skin takes time to regenerate. The turnover time for skin is 28 days. So you can imagine that we cannot rush into these treatments because we have to understand the science and give appropriate time to for the skin to regenerate. So what we are regenerating here is called the collagen. collagen is what gives the health to the skin. It gives the base to the skin. So that is what we are regenerating here. It is a painless procedure because we are applying an anesthetic cream. Now coming to a Q-switch laser. Q-switch laser is the most latest development in cosmetic dermatology. It has helped people not only cosmetically, just because they want to look good, but they have also helped people like her who, it's not important for them to look good, but she had this nevus of Bota that we call it on one of her cheeks. And she couldn't get married because of that, because in India, having any kind of spots or blemishes is not taken well. So this was covering her entire cheek. And she came to me and requested that please see if something can be done. And I said that let's try this Q-switch laser. And to both our happiness, we saw that it gave her a good result. And it really helped her in her personal life. So that is what I was trying to get at, that we are not just doing these procedures to only make a person look good. We are also doing it as a treatment for many conditions, and this is one of them. So it helps in definitely giving you a good healthy skin, reducing your tanning. It also removes your freckles. So this is the only laser which will help deal with freckles, because freckles are very difficult to deal with. Freckles are brown spots that come because of the sun or the light, and there is no other treatment that really helps, and this is one of it. It also helps us to do tattoo removals. People who have done tattoos and don't like them anymore, they do approach us for that. And in this case, the nevus was also helped. Nevus is a birthmark. Now, this is mole removal by radio frequency. So a lot of us must have seen these small moles developing. We call them moles, though they are not exactly moles. Moles are something which are much more deeper. That means they have a base within the skin. But these are structures which are just superficial on top of the skin. So we usually remove them by a machine which is called as radio frequency. So if I tell you in short, it will be like burning these off. They fall off. And then what you get is a normal skin. So this is what this was in the process of healing. So we see these small spots as well, but slowly everything healed up and the skin was as it was before. This is not a definitive treatment. That means I will not be able to stop the new ones from coming in, but I can definitely help getting rid of what has already come. Coming to platelet-rich plasma, this is doing rounds a lot these days amongst everybody. Now, platelet-rich plasma is basically a treatment where we draw the patient's blood, we centrifuge it, and we separate certain growth factors out. And it is these growth factors that we re-inject either into your scalp or into your facial skin for giving you either hair growth that is on the scalp or for rejuvenating your facial skin. So it is known as the famous vampire facelift in the West. So this is what is usually done. And this is how it is done. And it usually helps to grow the hair on your scalp to a great extent. As you may see here, I have shown before after of my patient. And after 3 sessions of PRP, she had considerable hair growth in the area where it was lacking. So it really helps. Coming to fillers. So fillers are basically inert gels. They contain something called as hyaluronic acid. And we use these fillers to fill up gaps. So when you see a person who is aging, for example, this photo on the slide, this lady, she has a very deep fold here near her nose and mouth. If you see, it's giving her a little aged look. So what we did is we injected a filler here. It's a gel. It is injected with the help of an injection. It fills up this area which is downturning. Look at the mouth. And then you see here in the after picture, you will see that she has a little younger look. And that is because of the filler that was injected. We can also fill up the cheeks. In this case, we put a little filler on the cheeks. And this is how it is done. So it is also done to plump up the lips, etc. Basically, it gives you a very young, youthful look when you do these procedures. They last for around 10 to 12 months, after which the body metabolizes this gel out. And as a result of which, the effect that it was providing slowly goes down. So it is not like a switch that immediately after 12 months, the effect goes away. It's not like that. It gradually goes down. But to maintain the effect, we need to re-inject. This is Botox. Botox is, a highly controversial subject. However, Botox is a very useful drug in our practice. So we definitely use it very often for people who have these frown lines between the eyebrows that I was showing earlier. We also use it for crow's feet. So when you smile, some people get these lines sides of your eyes. So these are called crow's feet. So when you have crow's feet and we inject the Botox into them, they are temporarily, static, and as a result of which they do not, we cannot see them. So what Botox does? So Botox is basically a neurotoxin. When it is injected into the muscle, it temporarily paralyzes the muscle. So it doesn't paralyze it in such a way that it will cause any harm to your body. It paralyzes it just temporarily. And as a result of which, you will see that the lines that were troubling you are static and you do not see them anymore. So it gives you a fresh, youthful, tight look on your face, which many people seek these days. Now I have made a special mention of square jaw. So we all know that Kareena Kapoor used to look very different when she was younger. Now definitely she is looking a lot different. So though she may have undergone surgeries, but a very prominent thing that was done for her was the square jaws that she had were injected with Botox, and as a result of which the leaner look is seen these days. So this is what Botox does. We also use Botox therapeutically, medically, to inject in people who sweat a lot from their palms and soles. So when Botox is injected into these areas, it reduces the sweating, because sometimes the sweating can go to such an extent that it hampers the daily working of that person. So that is where we use it medically as well. So under eye dark circles, now any person who walks into the clinic will always ask me two questions. Doctor, though we have come to you for psoriasis, we have this doubt. Do you also treat dark circles? And do you also treat hair fall? So dark circles is one of those problems that many of us face. And why this happens is because not only one reason, it is multifactorial. So the most common reason could be hereditary, because it often runs in families. But the other important thing is screen exposure. So now in lockdown, there has been a boom in the number of cases of dark circles because of the kind of screen exposure that we are getting. We are all the time in front of the screen, and not only us, even our children. So dark circles are, just happening to everyone. So the lesser the screen time, the better. I know it's difficult in today's times, but at least taking a break in between screen exposure would really help. And less sleep. Again, coming back to sleep. So sleep is what really matters here. And if you sleep at the correct number of, you sleep for the correct number of hours and at the correct time, decent time, that would really help in reducing the dark circles. And some people do have anatomically sunken eyes. They are called as deep set eyes, and they have something which is known as the tear trough. So the lady here in the picture had a tear trough. So that is the space in between the lower eyelid and the cheek. So when we injected the filler that I was referring to in her tear trough, it really helped to reduce the dark circle quite a bit, because after all, it was the shadow that was being cast. So when we injected, the shadow was gone and the dark circle looked much lighter. So this is how we usually treat dark circles. A very simple tip for treating dark circles would be to keep frozen eye bags on your eyes. So when you freeze these eye bags and keep them on your eyes and take some rest with your eyes closed, it definitely helps to reduce the dark circles. You can do it on a daily basis and it will really help. So this is one quick tip, home remedy, that I would like to share. Coming to acne. So many individuals who are getting acne or have got acne in your life know that acne is a very, very distressing condition. It reduces your self-esteem. It gives you depression, because there are dark spots on the skin, and sometimes you get scars which are more permanent. So all in all, it's not a very nice thing to have, but everybody goes through it. Maybe whoever, male or female of any age, has gone through it at some point of their lives. Usually there are very few exceptions to this. So and of late we have also been seeing a rise in acne in older age groups. So earlier acne would restrict itself up till the age of 30. After that we would not see so much acne. But nowadays, because of the rise in the cases of PCOS, a lot of hormonal imbalance due to the stresses of life, male or female, everybody is getting acne even in their 40s. And that's a very surprising phenomenon that we all are seeing these days, that as to why a person who's 40 is getting so much acne. So I have to treat them as I am treating a teenager. So this is what is happening. It's all because of stress. So that speaks for why I'm talking so much about stress. Okay, so these are chemical peels for acne. When we treat acne with chemical peels, it really helps us to give a better looking skin, a blemish-free skin to the patient. These are derma rollers which have been done for acne. And now coming to the keloid. So keloid is basically a bump which is left behind after you get a wound. So a wound can be of any proportion. It can be a large wound or a small wound. If you are prone to getting a keloid, you will get it nevertheless. So I have seen keloids as big as the chest, on the chest wall, which have been initiated only with a pinprick. So it can be that bad. So these are the treatments that we do for keloids. We inject into the keloid and they help to reduce the keloid to a lot of extent. Plus there are lasers which are called as CO2 lasers to treat the keloids as well. So this is laser hair reduction which we offer in the clinic as well. And this is permanent hair reduction, not permanent hair removal. It has helped many people because hair in unwanted places is always disturbing. And removal obviously is very tedious. So hair reduction makes sure that you do not get hair in the same intensity, in the same manner, and it really helps. And it's a painless, safe procedure and very effective. And we also offer something called as medifacials these days. So when, there are a lot of patients who come to us and say, doctor, we don't really want to go to a parlor or a spa because there are people who do not understand my skin are dealing with it. When I'm taking treatment from you, you understand my skin better. You understand what I really need to do for my skin. So why don't you give me a treatment which is just a normal treatment just to make me feel good? I don't want anything major done on my skin. So giving respect to these patients' emotions, we had to start these things which are called as medifacials, where we just give a simple microdermabrasion or a hydrofacial. So that means microdermabrasion is just removal of the superficial dead skin layer with the help of this machine. And it's a very safe, painless procedure. And the skin that you get immediately after a microdermabrasion is a healthy, rejuvenated and glowing skin. So people are happy with it. So these were all the things that I wanted to speak about the skin. In respect to the procedures, I'll be coming to the diseases of the skin a little later just to show you all what different diseases look like. I will go to the hair now. So hair woes are really something that have been plaguing me through my patients since a few months. Not that before that there were no hair woes, there definitely were. But now the way it has exponentially increased in the last 3 months is something that is left to be seen. So, so there are different kinds of hair fall. So what this girl is showing in the picture is called as telogen effluvium, and that is the hair fall that most of the people are experiencing at the moment. This is because it is all stress induced. It is also induced due to lack of proper nutrition. So as Ms. Shilpa was mentioning about a lot of feel-good foods that we were having, baking so much, having maida, everything affected us. So that is this is the cause. Then the lockdown, the feel-good factors that we try to indulge in the lockdown are the causes, and this is the effect. Female pattern baldness, this is a very common problem these days in a lot of females. Usually we see it after 30-35 years of age. Can be present at any age, no age is barred. But there is widening of the central parting and people see a lot of baldness on the frontal area, which is not becoming at all. Male pattern baldness. So this is, we are seeing even movies recently of late on male pattern baldness. It is definitely something that is disturbing. We are seeing kids as young as 16 coming to us with male pattern baldness. They're also coming to us with a lot of premature graying of hair as young as 16. So the condition which was restricted to their fathers or their uncles after the age of 40, they are seeing at the age of 16, and that is very disturbing. And they are progressing at a very fast rate so that they are getting higher grades of alopecia very early. There are 7 grades, and I often see kids already in 2 or 3 when they come to me. So we definitely need to instill treatment for this and continue the treatment to help them with it, because not having hair on the head definitely affects their self-esteem. So care for your crowning glory, very important. Shampoo and conditioning removes the dead skin cells, oil, dirt, dust, etc. Most of the shampoo and conditioner brands provide the same benefits, so they all are marketing gimmicks. We should choose a shampoo and a conditioner which is free from irritants like SLS, propylene glycol, etc. We should use the shampoo more often for oily hair. It can be even used daily because it is important to keep the scalp clean, or there will be more dandruff. if the hair is not washed on a regular basis, it gives rise to a lot of dandruff, because the oily hair, the oiliness of the hair will attract a lot of dust, dirt, bacteria, fungi, etc. Flakes in your hair, as I said, not shampooing enough. Please use a conditioner after every hair wash. When you wash your hair, the shampoo removes the moisture out of your hair. And when you condition it, it moisturizes the hair. It gives that extra shield, that shine. It reduces the static and it makes it easier to untangle. So please condition. Conditioner should be applied on the tips of the hair and not on the scalp. Otherwise, the hair will look limp. Brush your hair 3 to 4 times a day. Use a wide tooth comb to detangle, otherwise the hair will break easily. When it is wet, it is brittle, so avoid brushing or combing. Hot air can be very injurious to the hair, so use a hair dryer on a very cool setting. That will help. Tie hair loosely with scrunches instead of rubber bands, and get your hair trimmed out every month. That will help to keep the split ends at bay. Diet, very important for hair, so we always advise diet which is rich in proteins, calcium, iron, and vitamins. So, and omega-3 fatty acids as well. So we got a very good talk on that already. Drink plenty of water. And yeah, so this was about the hair. I come to the nails because in my field, we talk about skin, hair, and nail together. So nails, we must always keep clean and dry. Keep cut nails straight across. And do not bite the fingernails or remove the cuticle, because that often leads to a lot of infections in the nail folds, and that makes, that gives swelling, pain. When that happens, it's time to see a dermatologist who can help you out, giving you proper antibiotics, but try not to bite. Wear flip-flops at pools and in public showers. If diabetes or poor circulation is present, please seek treatment for that. And trim your toenails also regularly, otherwise they will hit something. The trauma, it gives a dark color to the nail because of the hemorrhage under the nail not becoming. So you need to take care of that. Also wear proper footwear. Now this ingrown toenail is a very common complaint. So this happens sometimes due to improper footwear that is used. So it is important to use a proper footwear to prevent the ingrown toenails. As I was talking about biting, it gives rise to bacterial infections. Also a housewife who is working in detergent and in water, we all went through this in the last 3 months. We all were working more because our maids were not present. So a lot of people presented with a lot swelling of the nail folds. Why that happened is because they were being exposed to water a lot, which they were not used to. Plus the detergent acted, and everything gave rise to a lot of inflammation of the hands and the nail folds. Also fungal infections are very common on the nails. So if you have fungal infections, please treat them, because the fungal infections are a very itchy condition. And when you scratch, the fungal spores, the fungal particles get deposited under the nails. And when you touch these nails on other areas of the body, the fungal infection spreads. So that is the reason why fungal infection must be treated by a dermatologist as soon as possible without waiting. And please do not wear tight shoes, as it will give rise to ingrown toenails. So this was in short about nails. When you talk about baby skin, their skin is very sensitive and gentle. Please moisturize it daily. Do not use powders that dries up their skin. Avoid kajal, basin, or other flours to scrub their skin. They have such a delicate skin. We should not really mess with their skin in that way. And I know we have age-old customs where we use all this basin and other flours, but that just adds to the dryness on their skin. So that should be avoided. And use warm water to bathe them, and no loofahs. These are a few moisturizing tips which I already spoke when I was talking about moisturizers. So people who have very dry skin, they can add something which is known as emollient to the bath water. And when you take bath with that water, it will give you better moisturizing. It is called emollient. And never use loofahs to take bath, because loofahs will cause friction. Friction will dry your skin and you will get drier skin. So even in people who do not have dry skin should not use loofahs, because we are brown skinned people. In us, friction causes permanent pigmentation. Loofah causes friction, and this will result slowly into permanent pigmentation. So we must not use loofahs very often. When you're taking bath, try using a moisturizing body wash. That would really help. And when you're applying a moisturizer, it should be applied on wet skin, preferably twice to thrice a day. These are a few swimming tips. Please use a physical sunscreen when you're swimming. Wash immediately after swimming. Apply a moisturizer immediately after swimming. Also, do not reuse swimming costumes without washing them, as chlorine has settled on them. And take care of your hair, shampoo and condition them immediately after swimming. So this is all that a dermatologist has in her or his armamentarium. So we are equipped with all these tools of ours. And when is the time to see a dermatologist? So I spoke about a lot of aesthetic concerns, cosmetic concerns, and a lot of other things. Now I come to hardcore medical dermatology, wherein these conditions should, tell a person that they need to see a dermatologist at the earliest. So these are a few things you see on your skin, like hair loss, rashes, scars, dry skin, dry scalp, skin disorders that do not heal, moles. You need to see a dermatologist. Also excessive sweating. Now, I'll talk about a few skin conditions. So ringworm. This topic is really close to my heart is because I have done my project on this, my thesis, my research on this. I also got a chance and I got a scholarship to present my paper on this, on fungal infections in the World Congress of Dermatology in Milan, Italy last year, which already Mr. Krishnan had spoken about. So this is what ringworms. So ringworms are very common these days. So earlier when I was studying, around 10 to 15 years ago, if a person would walk into the clinic with ringworm, I would say, don't bother, just take this cream, apply, or theek ho jayega, kuch nahi hai. But now, that's not how I treat it. Now it has become such a persistent problem that people are really distressed because of it. I can safely say that ringworm is a very, very itchy condition. And for this, we definitely need to counsel the patient a lot. We need to give them proper treatments with oral antifungals, topical antifungals, and they understand that these needs to be taken and the course should be completed, otherwise there's a recurrence. I have had patients who have been suffering from this since 2 years, 3 years, and when they finally land up to, in my clinic, I tell them that what is making you, suffer so much? What is happening? If you're taking treatment, why? Where are you going wrong? So then they divulged the doctor, they to kaha tha ki take treatment for a month, but I felt better in 2 weeks, so I stopped the treatment. And then they kept taking the treatment. So completing the course in this condition is very important. You must take treatment how the doctor advises you. Also, people use steroid creams. I have seen many people being advised even by chemists, take this cream, theek ho jayega, theek hota hai, but temporarily. The steroid cream will reduce the condition only for a week. After that, it will keep recurring. And it keeps recurring for years and it causes tremendous itching. So please avoid steroid creams without taking proper guidance from a doctor. This is also a fungal infection. This is a non-itchy condition where you have these white spots, or they can be brown, black spots on the skin. Happens in conditions of heat and humidity. So one more thing I'd like to add here for ringworm is it happens due to sweating. So taking bath twice daily is very important for all fungal infections. This is called molluscum contagiosum. It is a very common condition for children. They get these small bumps and it keeps spreading on the face or on any other part of the body. It can spread from person to person, needs treatment. This is warts. Many people may have seen them earlier. These are dark gray colored skin lesions that happen on any part of the body, and they are also viral in origin and need treatment. Melasma. Now melasma is a condition which causes pigmentation. Usually after pregnancy is when we see it. So this condition can be treated with Q-switch lasers, with peels, with creams that I was talking about. Acanthosis nigricans can happen because of hormonal conditions. So it can happen in people who have thyroid or diabetes or overweight. So obesity, we see this kind of velvety appearance at the back of the neck. This is also treatable with peels and Q-switch lasers, and also correction of the underlying condition. So yesterday was the World Vitiligo Day, June 25. Day before yesterday. So June 25 was the World Vitiligo Day. And we all attended a lot of talks and gave talks on vitiligo as to how people should not discriminate people having vitiligo. It is just skin deep, it is just a discoloration, and it's nothing else. And because in India, having this is like crazy. Mothers come and cry if the child is diagnosed with vitiligo. What will happen to the child now? Who will marry the child or whatever? So we try to always educate that this is just skin deep. Please do not discriminate. It is going to take a long time to get that message across, but we are trying our bit. These are hair nits, usually eggs of the lice. And this is tinea capitis. This is fungal infection of your hair. This is boils, very commonly seen in summer. People say that because we eat mangoes, this happens. That's not true. It's just a bacterial infection that happens more because of the heat of the summer. Atopic dermatitis, again a very emerging topic, is because more and more people are being diagnosed with atopic dermatitis. So why this is happening is because children are getting more and more atopic dermatitis. So when I was a child, we didn't know what was atopic dermatitis, but my children, they have. So why they have is because of the westernization of my lifestyle. So this is the change that we are seeing these days. Children are getting eczemas more often, insect bites. And yeah, so this, I come to the end of my presentation here. I just want to state that please see, if you're seeking allopathic treatment for your skin, hair or nail, you must know how to identify a qualified doctor. The dermatologists are the true trichologists, and the doctors should read one of these degrees. And need of the hour is that I'm doing WhatsApp consultations, because it is not very safe for me to call patients, nor is it safe for the patients. And I'm a certified skincare expert, and beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kruti. So, Gopalji, I would like you to thank Kruti and Dr. Kruti and Dr. Shilpa. We have a token of appreciation from Venus Club in the form of a certificate, which I shall be showing you right now, and it will be emailed to you. Gopalji, you can do the thank you, please.
Dr. Kruti Banotkar, thank you very much for a lovely presentation on skin, hair, and nails. It was really informative and useful. I'm sure members can